Hey guys, welcome in this new video. I hope that all of you are doing great. So in this video, we will take a look at Bitcoin and I'm going to show you guys what I think of it, my analysis, my thoughts on that, and what I'm expecting to see over the medium to long term on this market. So, you know, cryptocurrencies right now, especially Bitcoin, are very, very hot. Everyone is talking about them because they are moving extremely fast and very aggressively. And a lot of you guys wanted to hear my thoughts on Bitcoin and what I'm looking at and what I think is important on this market and so on and so forth. So that is the video to answer all of these questions. So I think a lot of you guys will be happy to see this. And yeah, I just hope that you will enjoy the video, but I think that I have some important points that I want to bring onto you guys, which might be very helpful in your trading. So just before that we start, as always guys, please leave a like under the video. I would really appreciate it, and it just supports the channel, and also make sure that you are subscribed if it's not already done. All right, so let's go on the chart and take a look at this. So first of all, this is a normal chart, so a linear chart. And as you guys can see, we don't really see much, right? I mean, we have a big up move here, we have a big correction, we have another big up move, but it's hard to look at it, you know, properly because of the scale of the chart. So what we need to do, and what you can do as well, is look at a logarithmic chart. So if I switch to a logarithmic chart, well, here we have it. And so the logarithmic chart shows you the difference of price, but in terms of percentage. So the scale in terms of the money, let's say, is bigger as it's going up. But in terms of percentage, it stays the same. So it gives you a chart that is much easier to read, that looks like this. And so we will use this chart throughout the whole video to do our analysis and to understand the price behavior of Bitcoin and what we need to consider about it. It's just way easier, you know, so that's what I recommend everyone to do. And now that we are on this chart, well, the first thing that we can do is simply look at the longer term trend and try to see, you know, what's going on in this market. So as you guys know, my trading style is pretty much trend following over the long term. So that's what I do. And so the longer term charts like this one are really important for my style of trading and for the trades that I will be looking for. I always want to be positioned in the same direction of the long-term trend. So if we look at this chart right here, what do we have? Well, we have an impulse, we have a correction, we have an impulse, we have a correction, and we have another impulse, right? So we definitely have a strong uptrend over the long term. So that is a very good sign. And that also means that the only trade I would ever look for on a chart like this is a buy for a continuation to the upside. Now, as you guys can see, if we look at the big corrections, so this one and this one. So this correction happened around, you know, 2013, 2014, 15, right? And then it broke all-time high right there. We got a bit of pullback there, and then we got a continuation to the upside, okay? And here, more recently, we got pretty much the same thing, right? So we had the all-time high right there, which was the high of the correction. We broke this all-time high, and we got a continuation. So we are now back into a bull market or an uptrend, whatever words you want to use to describe that. But we are back into strength and the price is going up. So one thing here that I want to explain you guys about my perspective on these things, which I believe is really important, is that I don't have a specific price target. I know that this is what everyone wants to hear, right? I know that this is what people are very focused on. To me, that is the most useless thing that there is out there. You don't need to have a price target when it comes to trades like this. So number one, you cannot have a precise price target which is accurate. And let me explain you guys why, but it's very simple, okay? The simple answer is that we don't have enough data to justify a target that would make it probable and logical to look at it from this perspective. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if we, again, just look at this chart, we have an impulse, we have a correction, we have an impulse, we have a correction. We are in the third big impulse of this market, okay? Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that we have only 2 times that we had one of these big impulse that finished. So we had this here and we had this here, right? This one might not be finished, so we cannot consider this, but we can consider this and we can consider this. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that we have 2 data, 2 topping points on this market. So let me ask you guys a question. can we generalize something with two information, right? In anything, whether it's trading or just life in general, can we generalize, can we make a rule out of two data? Well, the answer is no, obviously, right? So the point here that I'm trying to explain is that we don't have enough data to justify or to look for certain patterns around a topping point, or we cannot use indicators. We cannot use trend lines to look for price target. I know that a lot of people are doing that. I believe that it's wrong, simply because we don't have enough data to do this. Now, if we had 100 years of data of Bitcoin and we had many of these stopping points on the market, well, then okay, maybe that we could try to use indicators or trend lines or certain percentage level and things like that to identify a target, because we might have enough data to do this. But here, do we have enough data for this specific market? The answer is no, we don't. So to me, looking for a target within this uptrend here, to me, it's the most useless thing ever. And more often than not, you will get it wrong, first of all, and it's just going to take a lot of time and your energy for no reason. So now that we understand, okay, that it is quite useless to look for a price target, what can we do? Okay, how can we position ourselves in this market, and how can we try to capitalize as much as we can within this up move? Well, the answer, I would say, is quite simple. It's simply to follow the trend. So I'm going to show you guys how can we follow the trend, but it's very, very simple. Now, when it comes to trend following, especially on a market that's going up super aggressively like this, you don't need to overcomplicate everything. You don't even need to use any technical tools. So trend lines or moving averages and things like that, you don't need all of these things. All you need to do is look at the lows and keep moving the stop as it's going up until it takes you up. So if we look at the first big up move right here, okay, and if we try to imagine how we would have moved our stop within this uptrend, well, what do we have, right? We had this low, then we had all these ones, but they're all higher than each other. So let's just say this. Then we had this low here, then we had this one here, and we had this one here, this, and this, right? So these lows were never violated. These ones were. So this here would have been the exit out of this first bull market that we had on Bitcoin. If we just use a very simple trend following strategy like this and just move the stop under the daily lows, this would have been the exit. Now, is this a perfect exit? Well, no, obviously it's not a perfect exit, and you will not get a perfect exit, okay? I don't know if some of you guys are looking for that or thinking that you will get this. You will not, okay? So, forget about this, forget about the dream, forget about being a super, sniper trader that catches everything properly. That's not the idea. When you have a huge bull market like this on the market, the idea is to ride the trend for as long as possible without closing the trade too early or too late. So it's not about catching everything properly or, perfectly, I would even say, right? Like, that's the worst kind of ideas. I know a lot of people believe this on the internet and a lot of people fall into this trap, but it's really the wrong idea and it's really the wrong perception. You don't need to do these things. You might not get a perfect exit if you use a system like that, but at least you get most of the move, right? And you stay in the trade for as long as you can, and that's the whole idea. Okay, so that was the exit for the first bull market. Let's look at the second one. What do we have? Well, we had this low, we had this one, we had this, and this, right? So these are the simple lows. If you just look again at a daily chart from this perspective here, well, these are the lows that we can use, right? And so it means that this would have been, again, the exit. So not the most precise exit ever, but it's a great exit, and you were able to catch most of the big bull market that we had right here, right? And so if we apply the same thought process right now, what do we have as the lows? Well, we have this one here, we had these ones there, and we had these ones here. These are smaller levels, but I would consider this level here because it is under this last all-time high. So I think that this level has some meaning right here. So if I was, trading Bitcoin in a bull market like this, well, I would say that as long as the price remains above at least this level here, I would say that it's looking very, very good and there is nothing to worry about. Now, you know, could it come back to this level, break it, and then come back up? I mean, maybe. Again, we don't know because we don't have enough data. We just have too big impulse, so it's hard to generalize something with such little information. So we don't know. And again, it's not a perfect strategy. It's not a perfect way of looking at it. It's just a systematic process that you can follow, which gives good results over the long term. So it's the same thing for Bitcoin, right? So this would be the low. And so to me, anything that happens around these levels is really just noise. You know, it's not important. Like I see news and headlines every day and people kind of being very stressed out about Bitcoin. And, you know, they're like, oh my God, it just fell 10%. It just fell 20%. Guys, look at it from a logarithmic chart on the longer term, just like I'm doing right now. And you will see that everything becomes so much easier. It's so peaceful, right? You don't have all the stress and all the noise that everyone has on a daily basis when it comes to trading these kind of assets. It's very peaceful. You just ride the trend, you follow the lows, you keep moving the stop, and at some point you will get taken out of the market. Will it be a perfect level to get out? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. My point is simply that as long as you keep following a systematic process on all your trades, everything becomes much easier, you become more profitable, and it's way less stressful. And so you have all the advantage in the world of doing that, right? So, you know, that's the idea. And so here, what can we expect in the future? Well, we don't know. We just need to keep following the trend. Again, just like I said at the beginning of the video, guys, I don't have any target. I don't have any price in mind. And you should not as well, because you don't have enough data to find these price. So what can you do? Well, you can just ride the trend. So if here we get a pullback and then we continue going up, well, this is your new daily low. If we get something like this here, then it goes up, it's your new daily low, right? And you just keep moving the stop under the last low until it takes you out. You know, is it simple to do? Well, yeah, it's quite simple, actually, right? It's not that complicated. A lot of people sometimes are kind of overlooking these things, and I know that there are models out there who, you know, suggest which price it can go to, and people use trend lines and indicators and all kind of things like that. To me, especially on a market like this, it's quite nonsense and it's quite useless to do these things. I know that this is a very contrarian way of doing things and looking at the market. Some of you guys might not agree with me as well on this, but to be honest, I don't really care. I talk from my experience and what I think is the most logical way of approaching a market. This is what I've done for the past almost 6 years, and this is what has been working amazingly for me. So I hope that this video was clear. The idea was really to give you guys my perspective on these cryptocurrency and also try to make you guys gain some perspective as well on these markets, because I know a lot of people are in a bit of euphoria right now and they don't know exactly what to do and what to look for and what to consider or not on the chart. So I tried to clarify everything. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comment below, and that will be a pleasure to help you guys and to answer all your questions. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please again leave a like. You can share it around as well. And on that, take care, trade with care, manage your money well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.